Let's talk about some more changes in the new Age of Empires 3 Definitive Edition. Let's have a look at some of the civilizations and what I noticed has changed. Let's start off with the Spanish. So the Spanish, notable, they have 7 railroads. Sorry if I'm butchering any names. In the second age, what's different for all civilizations is that these cards here now they increase the yield of a tree by 15%, which means, or should mean, if it used to be 300 wood from one tree, you get 15% more out of every tree, which is huge. But this for wood it only applies for this card, no longer for this one, or not for this one. For the mine it also applies by 20%. And for all of the food gathering cards for wild animals and berry bushes, this increases the yield, which is pretty crazy. This makes the cards much more viable in my opinion, as these cards haven't really been played that much. But I mean, they're always very strong. But increasing the yield by 10%, that's just insane. This card, it now decreases the cost as well. Some civilizations I've seen have it in H3, not quite sure why, but yeah, obviously it's to balance the civilization out. So what else has changed? Like, these remain the same. What's for the Spanish especially new is this one, the Spanish gold, which is basically a must-have, I guess, which adds 400 gold to every single shipment, and it also ships 400 gold right away, so it's not too terrible to send it, and from then on every card will give you 400 gold, which is quite nice and welcome change to an otherwise well-balanced civilization, I guess, but no real strengths, so that's quite nice to see. Yeah, other than that, I didn't notice any huge changes. Other than they have the Grenadiers. Also, this card is new. It increases the range of Grenadiers. So they actually got access to Grenadiers now, which is probably a good thing. These cards they didn't change or anything, so the rest is pretty much the same. So let's look at the next civilization, the Lakota Civilization, previously known as the Sioux. Huge game changer in my opinion. Some really great. I'm really liking these changes here in this civilization. What's sticking out here, right here, is the 15 Bison, which is an unlimited card. So this allows this civilization to have actual continuous bonus, because they get some really nice bonuses. Here they have 3 bonuses for food gathering, one getting better than the other. This one is 25% faster hunting and 10% higher yield. So those are pretty insane bonuses. And also the team card 6 Bison is a really nice card to have to really boost your team, give them some safe food sources right around their town. This one has been buffed as well. It's 40% build time. So these 2 cards are actually really great to kind of help them boom, the Sioux or the Lakota. Yeah, so same with these cards, they now increase the yield, so they're also viable. I have actually no idea how to place any of these cards in the deck, so I'll have to try that out first. Another notable changes, they have 4 villagers. I think it's the only civilization you can send 4 villagers in the first age, which is insane, gives them a huge boost. What I'm not sure if it's always been like this, but these axe riders, they cost 160 food, which is insanely expensive. but I think it's always been like that. Or maybe the cost was slightly increased, but I'm not sure. This one is in H2. I think it was in H3 before, I'm not sure. But this seems quite powerful to change all of your axe riders and rifle riders in H2. Also here, 5 villagers, very nice card, but not special. And this is also changed here. This card was completely worthless before, 0.65 trickle rate for gold and wood. Now you get a 10% boost of your estate, which has really been missing for this civilization. There's a 0 bonus. So with this card, the disadvantage over other civilizations is actually decreasing a little bit. So they only have these 2 cards to increase the paddy gather rate. So arguably you don't even need this if you can just keep gathering from bison. So it's actually really hard now because you have this card. It's actually, even for treaty, maybe it might be viable to use these because you get a higher yield and faster gather rate. So it will be really interesting to calculate how this is going to work out. If you have the highest yields, how many villagers, for how long you can put them on these bison until you can send the next shipment, like continuously. This might be a really nice food source, and maybe can help them out with their huge disadvantage of not having any additional resource. The economy is absolute trash in the late game. Also a huge change, the Sioux or the Lakota, they can now make walls in H4, which is an amazing change. That's actually really cool. In H4, which is fine, now they can build walls and they still get the bonus of 200 population. So I have the feeling this is going to be a real cool and powerful civilization, of course with the weakness being that the most obvious choice is the cavalry, which is easy to counter if you know what's coming. But for team games, it's really cool. So it's really exciting to see these changes here. Of course, for all civilizations, the amounts of natives here has changed. For the treaty deck, it's really you can be free to choose whatever cards you like. There are so many left. So I put some cards you would never normally put in a deck, like this one for treaty, especially for treaty like 60 minutes, which I like to play. And this, you would never see that in a treaty deck. But there's actually, I mean, I just made this real quick. There's actually not many, you have all the bonuses that you would normally need. All the economic bonuses that are possible. That makes sense. Like I've put this one in, which doesn't make sense at all. You would never put that in a treaty deck either. But I feel like, you know, it can help you boom a little bit faster. I'll probably take that out eventually, but I mean, you kind of need this one because it's a huge boost in the yield. So maybe exchange that one for that one. It's maybe a better boost, especially because of this card here. It's just really interesting and very cool to see how this plays out. So the Dutch, I think there's also a little change in their civilization bonus. I'm not sure if it's always been like that, but I'm quite positive it is not. They get a 50% more gather rate for mines. Not sure why, because they're quite powerful, but maybe to get the early game up to speed. So yeah, let's have a look at the deck. I've never looked at this civilization before, so I'm not sure if I'm gonna notice any changes. At the first glance, not really. I mean, if there's something missing, it's very hard to detect. Yeah, it seems to be more or less the same. They also get grenadiers, interesting. Speed. More speed and less damage. think that's slightly different. The halberdiers are really useless in 3D games because they're way too expensive. Like the Dutch cannot afford that. Their economy is quite weak. Oh, I mean, this has changed, okay, so it's no longer plus 33%. Yeah, but it's probably not much changed here. So the Portuguese, they actually got an upgrade which gives them 200% for the walls. They had a team walls card for 50% more HP for walls, which is now plus 200%. But in reality, since the walls no longer have 3000 base HP, yeah, so it's probably more or less the same at the end of the day. So just to balance out the base. But it will be nice to team up Portuguese with Chinese if you want to have really strong walls, and maybe even Inca to have like this triple wall bonus. Or play the Russians with the Portuguese and the Incas, and have the Russians build their insanely fast fortifications. They can build a wall in like less than half a second, like instantly with all their upgrades, which you wouldn't normally have, but technically you can do that. Because building walls fast can be quite nice in some kinds of games, but yeah. So let's have a look at the new civilization changes over here. So yeah, the only change that I noticed is that this stance no longer increases the wall HP, just all other buildings, and but it also increases the attack now. Yeah, the new civilization Incas, they used to have a fur trade which can be sent unlimited, but will exchange your food for gold 1-to-1, or at a slightly worse ratio even. But let's have a look at that afterwards. I haven't noticed any changes here. They even added this card here back. Okay. So yeah, no really notable changes at first glance. Those civilization bonuses, I haven't noticed any changes other than the ones for the Dutch, which I'm not even sure if that's been there all along. I've been missing that feature for forever. Let's have a quick look at the Germans first. Might be interesting too. That was a very funky civilization which made 140 villagers. Oh, this one. Oh, okay. It's still the same. Interesting. This makes them absolutely worthless because the speed is just so vital for close quarter combat units. This would be a really nice card. It wouldn't decrease the speed. It's very interesting. I thought it was like 20% before. Not sure. Let's see if they still get their extra villagers. Not noticing anything. Seems to be the same. Also Grenadiers, interesting. Grenadiers seem to be a unit that most civilizations now have access to. They're insanely OP in some situations. Because they got buffed quite heavily. Yeah, so there's not much new on the first glance. I shouldn't play civilizations that, or shouldn't show civilizations that I haven't checked out in advance. So the Aztec would be very interesting as well. But I haven't noticed any changes either. Probably are some changes, but yeah, I don't know. Let's look at the Inca real quick. That has changed from the previous beta version. They used to, I think they can no longer get a bonus for when they enter a building, like their castles or stuff like that, their barracks. They don't count to the population limit, so they could make unlimited army or up to like 400 or something like that, which is just stupid. I think they removed that now, but don't quote me on that. Cute. So, what do I want to check out? This one is probably the hardest one to get accustomed to. So many different units, if you have no idea what their strengths are, like this one, which just has splash damage and just wrecks everything. They're also really good rush civilization, I've noticed. Played a few 3 versus 3 games and they're always quite fast to the punch, but yeah, let's see where their fur trade card is. Here, this one. Interesting, still unlimited. All the food is exchanged for an equal amount of coin, can be sent infinite times. Imagine this card in team games. But I've seen this discussed in forums. Some people said, yeah, because of the penalty, because this is no longer a larger amount of gold, it's actually 1-to-1, and now with the penalty of sending to your teammates, this will make it barely worth it, but I still think this can be absolutely worth it for certain civilizations or certain situations. For example, with the Aztec, which have the best food gathering rate in the game. If you have a teammate, an Aztec teammate, they could just get rid of all the gold collecting cards, just focus on food, you know, but it's gonna make the game harder, so I think this, thanks to the fact that this is equal, not a larger amount, and you lose some when you're sending to your teammates, I think that's quite fair too. I mean, if this works in certain situations, then fine, so be it, as long as it's not a game-changing benefit. Yeah, so those are some more changes. And enjoy the game.